following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Episode number 321 on this July the 27th, 2023. Tonight's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com to check out other great podcasts and great sports articles right throughout the sports world. Some great podcasts, the Corner Booth podcast, and one of my favorites, I listen to it on watch it live Tuesday nights on Belly Up Sports and their own YouTube channel, Crap Root Sports. Those guys are great. Dave, we met up last night. This is our third time talking. This doesn't happen very often. We talked to each other more. We talked to our spouses. But we actually saw each other face to face last night.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion where you
Casa del Blanco or something. I can't remember what it was called, but
yeah, nice little new Mexican joint downtown Lethbridge, Alberta.
Because nothing screams Mexican joint like downtown Lethbridge, Alberta.
I don't give a fuck. I would go to a Mexican joint in Cleveland. I would go to a Mexican joint. I love Mexican joints, and that was a decent Mexican joint. I'd like to take my time a little bit, not just scarf one down because I was hungry. You guys has already just strapped on the feed bag with that big plate of nachos there.
Yeah, we got there around 3 p.m. And
I didn't get there till 5:30.
So yeah, Deanne had a couple of margaritas. She was a taste tester, I guess, was going on. But it was a lot of fun. Had some drinks as we talked about having margaritas on Monday. The last time we talked on the podcast, had some margaritas, had some beers, I had a couple of tacos. You had some a burrito, whatever it was. The one thing that I was a little bit, and I think you know where I'm going with this. There was a night that she seemed like a super nice woman sitting next to us. With her little Pepe Le Pew looking dog. And she was talking in the third person to this dog like they were a couple. I get it. I get it. People love their pets. I understand it. I used to be a pet owner. I used to love it on and on and on. But when you start talking for your dog, like your dog's just got a mouthful of food, that's when I go like, you're an idiot.
It's not.
It's no harm, no foul.
But
when you start saying things like it's our first time out and we are out together, that's when I gotta just like, listen. And if I was maybe 15 or 16 more beers deep, I might have said something, but I had only 3 or 4 at that point. I was like, oh, right on. You know.
Well, and like she seemed somewhat normal because she got a kick out of my Cinco de Mayo joke with that weight risk. Yes, and then so
we'll get to that in half a second too. But
yeah, so she wasn't an idiot. She understood the ridiculousness of my joke and how someone actually fell for it. But yeah, like I don't know if that dog I want to call
it was a cocker shih tzu or something. I don't know.
It was tiny, maybe 5 pounds, and it was sitting on a chair beside her, and she was hand feeding it.
And she brought her a water dish, and the girl had to bring her water without ice, and so little Pepe Le Pew could eat and the whole thing. And I get it. Like, I get it. You love your mutt. We don't know the backstory. Maybe it's a rescue dog. I don't know. Whatever. But it just seemed odd the way she was talking about this dog like they were a fucking married couple going out for the first, or dating, and they just met on Tinder going out for the first time. I don't know. It was really weird to me.
It is weird,
it's
but
odd.
you know, I was just 3 days alone myself with my dog, and I had a couple conversations with him as well. But that was in the confines of my home.
Yeah,
right?
you're probably 420 deep though, right?
Well, no.
I didn't say 1420. I said 420. Maybe you had a couple of puffs or an edible or whatever. I don't know.
I talked to him in the morning. I talked to him stone cold sober, and I talked to him. I maybe carry on a little bit more after some
looking for an answer or response or something.
intoxicants, yeah. But but I think about that too. I was thinking about it myself. Like my dog's a big boy. Like he's 100 pounds. What if I brought him there and put him on a fucking seat? He'd be the tallest guy in the place.
Yeah. I don't know. Like my sister still has two dogs with Scout and little McGuire there, and they're quite the funny little pair. And it's just I get it to an extent, but when it gets to that point when you're talking to your mutt about your mutt with other people about the date you're on, like it was weird. I think
she was
super nice, super nice,
and not offensive. The dog was well behaved and everything. So just, I get it. I completely hear what you're talking about, but like, these are the things I'm letting go. Like, you just do you. I don't care. Put it in your fucking purse. Yeah, it didn't affect my
night. It was just something I was. Deanne saw me pushing my brain back inside my head when she first sat down. It was going to explode. So I plugged my ears and like just do whatever and sucked it in or whatever. However I was doing it, because she goes, "Don't." I said, "I'm not going to say a word." Like, I'm 48 years old, so I'm not going to say a word about this. It was just, it was odd. It was odd.
And I'll let it go, and I'm not going to even say a word, as long as, like, dogs and kids, as long as they're well behaved, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to mind your dog if you mind your dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Then when you ordered your first drink, you said something in whatever Spanish that you kind of know, and then you said to our server, "Happy Cinco de Mayo," and then our server, she couldn't have been more than 19 years old. She said something along the lines of, "Well, Happy Cinco de Mayo." And she goes, "Is it Cinco de Mayo?" We're like, "No, it's really not Cinco de Mayo." And
it's
that's
July.
When the woman with the dog started laughing and everything else, and it's July, and she goes, "Oh, I guess so." And the woman next to her, she goes, "Yeah, that COVID just screwed kids up." Eh? Like, yeah, it really did. Yeah. Just nothing there. Just a blank stare. No, it's not May the 5th. Is what we would have said 30 years ago if we were out in that situation, Dave. 30 years ago, you would have said, "It's not May the fucking 5th, you idiot. Of course it's not Cinco de Mayo." That's what you would have said.
I probably would have. Probably would have. We weren't
a harmful group.
No.
But we tended to speak our mind a little bit more.
Yeah, we're our opinions are on the table, but when you do something stupid, we're not giving you the verbal slap like we once.
Yeah, we used to pile her on no matter who was around, no matter who it was. It was the pile on here. So you're going to hear it to the bitter end, till you're almost hanging by your rope on most of the times back in the day. But anyways, Dave, the Los Angeles Chargers yesterday, let's talk money. It always comes up no matter what, no matter how much you try to stay away from it. But preseason football and then soccer, and it's hockey season coming up. So there's nothing really to talk about in those sports wise. There's a lot to talk about in the sports world with baseball still happening. But in those sports wise, the big news yesterday was, Jesus, my gosh, Justin Herbert in his 2 or 3 years, whatever he's been in the league with the Los Angeles Chargers, he got himself paid. He's now the highest paid quarterback in NFL history per year. 5 years, $262.5 million. I think it was 140 or 150 million guaranteed, whatever it was. He's going to do all right. Not going to worry about his next paycheck for the rest of his life. When does it stop, man?
I don't know, because you know what Austin Eckler has won? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the Chargers as a franchise, nothing. They've done sweet fuck all. They've disappointed their fans to no end. They've made
back
2
in
Super
San
Bowls.
Diego. They've been on and on and on. They've never
been Bobby good. Humphrey and the breeder Phillip Rivers,
Ryan Leaf.
They drafted Eli Manning, who has 2, but not with the Thunderbolt. When we talked about the running backs the other day, like, don't you think a quarterback can say, like, so now we're talking about Daniel Jones, and now we're talking about Herbert, whatever his name is. Hey, thank you. Can we throw 5 to Austin Eckler, please? Because he's really good. And I understand that these running backs are plug and play, and we're always going to find one. but he's really good. He can pick up the blitz. He's a good pass catcher, and he's what we need. He's worth more than $10 million. Like I do understand because it's all about the bank, and that's how these athletes measure themselves against each other. It just seems unfair to me that Austin Eckler, who was a super stud last year, is going to have to play for $10 million. Well, Herbert, who was a good quarterback, but hasn't done jack shit, is making $52 million next year. Like, you don't have an extra $5 for the running back.
Well, and that's the thing is like it is what you brought the running back situation, and you go, and it's a plug and play with the running back. But realistically, I almost said San Diego, but are the LA Chargers that much closer to get to winning a Super Bowl with giving this guy $52 million? No, they're further away. They're further away.
Especially in the division, right?
And that just goes with math. And I don't give a fuck about the players. Plug and play. And because you talk about plug and play, that means just put a guy here, put a guy here, put a guy here. That's pretty much what quarterbacks are, because there's one guy who's still better than all of them.
Right, and
right?
he happens to play in the same division,
and he's happened already won 2, and he's actually taken a bit of a pay cut, and restructure and everything else. So this plug and play theory that you talk about, it doesn't make any sense. Why these arrogant little prick quarterbacks are just getting everything that's coming to them when they're not going to win anything, because the other guy in the division and the other guy in the conference or the other guy in the league is still better. So what are you doing?
Yeah, and when you break it down, right? Like, so what's his nuts in God? So in the division, you got Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson and Herbert now making big money, like 30 million, around that, 30 million plus, let's say. And then you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Joe Burrow's not making big bank yet. And yeah, he will. And the guy in Buffalo, why am I blanking on his name? Josh Allen. They're all making huge bank. Only one of them, well, it might not even be any of them, is going to make the Super Bowl right now. And you got Joe Burrow still working on his rookie deal. So, you're paying all these that much money. Then why don't, if owners are so fucking smart, why don't they do the same thing to quarterbacks that they're doing to the running backs, right? If we can get 4 studs on defense that can do this, and we get a super offensive line, and like go like totally analytic on them, and go the Dallas Cowboys, and then we can have a back like Emmitt Smith, who's I believe the single most overrated running back in the history of the NFL. He had the single best
they won, so that doesn't hurt.
They won, right? But they had playmakers, right? They had playmakers on defense. They had playmakers on offense. And he did his job. I can't besmirch him on that regard.
He did his job at a very high level. Right.
Yeah.
And it helped that they had a Hall of Fame quarterback, and it helped that they had guys on defense and offense. They had a good tailback, and on and on it went. Like, it's just, so you wonder, like, it's odd that these quarterbacks just take every last penny that they think they deserve, because they're the face of the franchise. They're the guys who are on all the billboards across whatever town they are, on and on. They get all the commercials and everything else, and all the jerseys are sold with the number 7 on them, and who gives a fuck who wore number 7 last time the quarterback failed for that team, or last time the running back failed for that team. So those numbers are just get recycled. They go in the Ring of Honor, and lots of them don't get retired. And so and we talked about that, I think it was a week ago today, about getting your number retired. These quarterbacks, man, I get it. You need a good quarterback to win, but you also can have serviceable quarterbacks who also win. Yes, the 49ers did not win with Garoppolo, but they came damn close. Closer than Justin Herbert's came with the Chargers.
By a ton. And then you have a team like Arizona that caved to Kyler Murray's contract demands. He's making in that $35 million range. And as I'm looking at the NFL prognosticators right now, I saw one guy had him going 3-14. So you just
$40 million, whatever it is, he's getting, or 35 or whatever it is. Who cares?
Yeah,
Like you
to
just
go 3-14, like how does that making your team better?
so why do these teams succumb to these quarterbacks? Honestly, because none of them, and I'm not and I don't watch a ton of games. I watch the 11 o'clock games. That's it. Honestly, I don't watch Mondays. I don't watch Thursday. I watch the 11 o'clock games because I'm busy doing whatever after that goes on. None of them are better than the guy who's won twice. Right. None of them.
Show me you can win, and then we'll pay you.
And then we'll pay you.
Right. You know, and I'll even give Josh Allen, I'll put him in the gray area because he got to the AFC Championship game a couple of times. Russell Wilson, he's won a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, he's won a Super Bowl. And then who else has won a Super Bowl? Tom Brady was winning all the goddamn Super Bowls the last 10, 15 years.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah, between him and Peyton. And they weren't the highest paid quarterbacks because they were making sure that they had a good team around them so they could win another one.
Let's just say that if Connor McDavid went out there and he said, you know what? I'm underpaid. Fuck you. I make 12 million or 11 million or whatever he's making. I think it's 12.5. I think he's third on the pay scale now. Underpaid by other sports standards for sure. What if he went into whoever's office, Ken Holland, whoever the GM there, whatever the president, whoever's going on there, and he went, you know what? I see these other athletes and other sports, what they're getting paid. Yeah, we ain't gonna win fuck all, but you know what? That's not my fault. I do what I can do. I see these quarterbacks and they're making this so much. Let's put a percentage wise and on it goes. What if Connor McDavid said, I want to get payable compared to what that quarterback makes? Like if there was whatever the salary cap is in the NFL and whatever salary cap is in the NHL, what if Connor McDavid walked into the Oilers brass and said, I'm underpaid and I'm not playing?
There's nothing they can do because A, the guaranteed contracts, and B, the salary cap. Like, what are you supposed to do?
But if it was a comparison,
oh no,
whatever the percentage might be.
No. As a player, you know what I would do? I would make my own jersey. I'd put on a 97 on with in Oilers colors, no Oilers or NHL emblem, and sell it on my website. Just do a hockey jersey. Just do your own merchandising. Every fucking Connor McDavid jersey out there rolling around, he doesn't get a penny off of that. Not a penny.
Players don't either. I mean, it's one of those things.
But that's what I'm saying. But when you're generational like him and clearly the best player that's on the ice, then and if you want to, I get it in the NHL that you can't make NBA money because NBA money is ridiculous.
Just have more and less players on and on. The TV contracts are huge. Same with NFL, but
yep. But it's not the same with the NFL because the NFL at least has to pay whatever.
And they do have
players.
A cap. They do have a cap.
And they do have a cap. And then I think the absolute solution is fuck the cap.
No cap.
No cap. Like why are we protecting these owners from each other? Right?
And the other way around, Dave, if you want to play with the big boy, if you can't party the big dog, stay on the porch. There's the title of tonight's show. If you can't party with the big dog, stay in the porch. If you can't afford to spend with that big spender, don't go out with them. You don't buy into this franchise if you can't afford to do it.
And I'm all right with what baseball does with having a luxury tax. Like if you're the big dick swinging billionaire who comes in like Cohen with the Mets and he's trying, and I give him credit, he's trying. Like he's
not very smart about it. Like he spent $86 million on 2 40-year-old plus pitchers, but whatever.
For what, 20 starts so far this year? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And it goes wrong, and that's what happens sometimes. But to the benefit of the teams that don't have the revenue streams that he does, and and if you want your share of that revenue stream from the luxury tax, there has to be a hard floor too.
There's enough billionaires in the world, and that's a ridiculous statement to make, but there's enough billionaires in the world who are probably dying to get into these franchises because it does nothing but make money. So do these leagues, and this is going to go. This is a fucking segue, Dave. This is a segue of all segues. Is it going to get to a point where these leagues have to look at what these owners actually have, not fucking fake money and and paper trails and on and on? Do these leagues need to say, okay, if you're going to have a franchise in this league, whether it be football, whatever, but like with more so with hockey and baseball, because there's some lower end teams. If you are going to have a franchise, you need to have at least, I don't know, 10 billion in the bank. I'm just throwing numbers out, obviously, because we want to have a league that everybody can just spend whatever the fuck they want. And then go back to what we said last week, where you could have one actual franchise guy. The maximum and minimum you have to spend for this one player, we'll talk hockey or we can talk football, whatever, is, if let's say football, you have to spend 60 million on one guy, and in hockey you have to spend 20 million on one guy. Do leagues have to get to a point where they go, here you go, you have to have this much money? Because there's guys who are begging to get in these leagues, begging.
I would say, like, let the fan base decide, because if you're going to own a anything worth $1 billion, like, you give me a $500 million yacht tomorrow, what am I going to do with that? I can't pay to upkeep that. I can't pay a fucking pilot and a maid and a cook to do that, to be on it 5 times a year. I can't do it.
We need a few more SeatGeek people, but whatever. Yeah.
We need a couple more SeatGeeks, and now it's the same as buying a professional sports franchise. You might have the $4.2 billion to start, but now you have to maintain said franchise. And if you can't maintain it, then get bent.
Like, and borrowing against your asset doesn't do you any good.
No. And then so either do it, either fuck or walk, right? And we say that all the time. Now you're the owner. Now you got your Lamborghini, right? You got to have to change the tires. You're gonna have to fill it with gas. You're gonna have to insure it. You're gonna have to do your regular maintenance. That's the same as the professional sports. Well, I'm in Kansas City. I can't afford those kind of payments.
Then don't buy the fucking team.
But then sell it, put it on the market, put it on Kijiji tomorrow.
There is it, and that's where I was going to segue that, and that's where the Saudis jump in, because the Saudis, like we talked, like they came in and they bought the PGA Tour. It took them a year. It went about it went about an odd way, and something I didn't see coming. But they bought the PGA Tour. And the next thing this week they offered that Mbappe guy, I think I said it right, Mbappe fucking Hansen from 1999, but they offered him, basically it was $1 billion transaction. He was going to get 750, I think, and whatever club team he's on, he was going to get they were going to get 250 million. He was going to get 750 million. Is it going to get to a point, Dave, where these franchises get sold
for 1 year? For 1 year.
All that money is for 1 year. Is it going to get to a point where the Saudis, just because they have so much money, they're going to go in and just buy franchise, buy leagues, because they did it with the PGA Tour. And people who say they didn't, you're fucking lying to yourself. They bought the PGA Tour.
Well, I like Joe Pompolino. It's the Joe Pomp Show. I've referenced to him a couple of times. It's a great little podcast. It's a 20-minute listen, and the business of sports. He's broken down F1. He's broken down Wimbledon, like just how sports makes money. And he talked about things. He talks about things like this, and the Saudis have so much money, they literally do not know what to do with it, and they want to clean up their image. Like they want to clean up their image, and they're going to try and do it with sports.
9/11 thing's not going to go away anytime soon, but yeah.
Well, that's not on them, or either like murdering reporters and cutting them up in the embassy.
It's not a good look.
It's a terrible look, and it's a very restricted.
Not the Canadians every Canadian has a good look, and not every American has a good look either. But like the Saudis have a bad look in North America, right?
Yeah, and I agree, and so that's why they target sports, to try and make themselves look over time, right? So in 10 years, if we've all been watching events, golf events now, because there will be golf events down in the Middle East now, and there will be this, they've what's his name from Portugal, Ronaldo, he signed his, I think he's getting paid $500 million. Messi
He
said
scored
no
yesterday, and his wife was sitting there in a Walmart T-shirt, turning the sidelines. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, in a burqa, because I don't know, it's just ridiculous that they're trying to do this, and money is no object. And this I don't know if it was Joe Pompa or it was another podcast. They figure that the next thing they're going to go after is the tennis tour, right? Because
easy pickings.
Tennis and golf, right? You win or you fuck off, right? Like
tennis and golf are only two things without guaranteed contracts, without sponsors, right? You have to win in Texas, you have to win in tennis, and you have to win in golf to make money.
If you're not playing,
you go in the tournament, that's how much money you make, right? And that's one of those things where hockey, you have a guaranteed contract, baseball guaranteed contract, football quasi guaranteed contract. You make money. If you show up on a Thursday in golf and you're slamming the trunk with your clubs in the trunk and on Friday afternoon, you're not getting paid. Right. Tennis the same way, right? Tennis, how many times are even guys who've won majors, they're slamming their trunk on fucking Monday afternoons. They can lose in the first round. That's it.
I just lost money, right? Because there's you're staying, you're eating, you have your entourage, whatever, and you unless you're playing on Saturday, you just wrote a check for your entourage. You were just paying for turtles to hang around.
Could the Saudis possibly, because I mean, NHL's a franchise, same as like a McDonald's, same as NFL's a franchise, NBA's a franchise. The NFL's huge and they don't need to. I mean, it's bigger than anybody would ever imagine from 20 years ago even to now. But could you see somehow, some way, the Saudis just rolling in? And so I don't know what good it would do them, but this is hypothetical, obviously, that's what podcasts are. Could you possibly see the Saudis rolling into old Gary Bettman's office in Park Avenue or in Fifth Avenue in Park and Fifth, whatever the fuck it is, in New York City, in Manhattan, and saying, how can I buy the NHL?
The NHL.
The NHL, and then you guys are and then I'm gonna get paid. Could you see it? Why wouldn't
it? Because how's that gonna help them, right? They need whitewashing on a global scale, and the NHL is such a, as far as the global sports go, NHL
they can't go NFL road because that's just too big. Because the NFL doesn't need it, the owners don't need it.
Yeah,
NHL owners could use it. You think what the franchise fees now compared to what they were 10 years ago for the NHL, right?
The fact that the Senators are asking $1 billion, that blows me away. Because they're small market and they're shitty. And they need a new barn.
And one of the first things that owner has to do is spend money to get a new barn downtown.
Yeah.
It's going to cost that owner money right off the bat.
I've never been to a game there, but I actually did drive by that barn. I was in Ottawa a couple years, it's 20 years ago now. And as we were driving by, from Kingston to Ottawa, it's like, holy shit, the arena is this far out of town.
40 minutes or something, isn't it?
Oh, it's gross. It was once again, you finish your work day, trying to make a 7:00 game, you can jam it. I get it. They got a good deal on the land and all this in your entertainment district, but for 42 days a year, especially for 30 of those days is
30 below.
It's not nice weather.
Yeah, and there's global warming there in Ottawa and fucking in December and January.
No, it's too hot in the winter, but it still stays cold in the winter. It's funny how that works.
Could you see the Saudis jumping into some other leagues that are franchise? For
sure, they're trying, right? Because their first big push was golf, and
they bought it within a year.
And they actually tried buying the entire Formula One thing. They tried to buy Formula One. That's a huge dough, and Formula One says no. So they own a team or two in there.
And now they're buying soccer players. They're joining their own league and on. Oh, Jesus, fuck, man.
See, I would guess, I don't know, unless you can buy the entire league, because it would be contradictory to league rules to have one entity own more than one team, right?
But if you can, like somebody, like at the end of the day, no matter like what, like Walmart, there's franchises. At the end of the day, there's people who at the top end of the is Walmart, like the Wall family, right? So why can't the NHL do that? Like, why can't at the end of the day, this guy owns this, and he'll start spreading the money out to like all of a sudden this guy and that guy and the other Saudis just have their own team. You know what I mean? Like it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it is.
I hear what you're saying, because like every single Walmart franchise is owned by it's not a franchise, it's a company. And so Walmart, the Walmart family, whatever, owns every single Walmart, and there's different things. McDonald's is different. You buy a franchise, so you're paying them. I don't know if I honestly don't. They probably could write that check.
But at the end of the day, somebody owns the most shares.
Right.
Like no matter what.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. It's more than money. I don't understand the whole thing. I try to pretend that I know, but yeah. At the end of the day, somebody owns the most shares, and they're the last vote in the fucking the chain of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got your board of governors and your board and what have you. Like I too don't 100% understand it, but so you're suggesting that maybe the Saudis just come to Gary Bettman and the owners and say, "I'm going to buy every single one of you out and put you guys on salary, and then run it like a Walmart thing and install your managers and everything." But that will never happen, because I think
could
sports,
they buy a league?
Because
they've already bought, like I said, they bought the PGA. They're going to buy tennis, like we discussed. Could they come in and buy a league?
Well, they now control. I won't say control, but they have the most skin in the game in PGA, Live, whatever other tour they're combining, kind of thing. And when I read that, what happened there, the PGA board of governors are going to have the most voting shares on the board, but the Saudis have 2/3 of the money involved. And you know what? Whoever pays the fiddler picks the tune, right?
Yeah,
and that's just how it is. Money talks, and that's
whoever pays the fiddler picks the tune. I like that. I never heard that before.
Oh, that's old school. Like but I am old school. We know how that goes.
I come up with, you can't play the big dog stay in the porch. You come up with whoever pays the fiddler picks the tune. Get back to the original before we get going here, Dave. Would you have given Justin Herbert $52 million a year?
I would have tried to keep it a little bit lower, because if you're going to try and be competitive, and that's what I would always sell my quarterbacks on. I understand you have to pay them, but I also understand I want to put a winner on the field. But then at the end of the day, too, you're going to get your whatever $400 million check. The NFL made $12.8 billion as an organization last year, so that pays a lot of bills too. What I want to say is just like, specifically in the NFL, guaranteed contracts and fuck the salary cap. You guys want to be big dick swingers? Let's start swinging some dicks here.
I tell you what, if some agent came into my office, if I was a GM, owner, CEO, whatever it was, and said, we want to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history per year right now, I'd say get out. I would say get out.
You don't look like Pat Mahomes.
You don't look like the best one that's in the league right now. I would say get out, and don't come back ever again. I'm not talking to you ever again, because you think I'm stupid and it's not an open checkbook. Fuck off and stay fucked off. That would be my exact words. We lost with you. We'll lose without you. Fuck off.
Fuck your hat. And then franchise tag me then, because now that number is going to be around $45 million.
I want to do that. We'll find a way to cut you.
When you have Mahomes and
we'll put you on long-term injury reserve, whatever it might be. Get out. Fuck you.
And Aaron Rodgers?
That would have been my response. To give these guys, these quarterbacks, whatever they want. No, fuck off. That's my response.
football
Once
more
again,
than any
Brent,
other sport.
pro owner.
You need difference makers, and people like Aaron Donald, people like JJ Watt, people like TJ Watt, that Justin Jefferson who was playing on his rookie deal last year. If you don't have a difference maker, you don't have a team that's going to win in the league. And the biggest difference maker in the league right now is Patrick Mahomes, and he also has Travis Kelce and that fucker on defense, Cook.
Doesn't matter.
Clark. That's what you need. You need people to disrupt on defense, and you need people to make plays on offense. And if you don't have those people, you don't have those people. And I don't care how much you're paying. I always pick on him, Kyler Murray. I'll never understand for a million years why Arizona didn't tell him to get fucking bent when he wanted to hold out and get this big deal. Go play your video games for free.
We're going a little bit long here, but I will never understand why owners didn't stand up these guys, because you have two. Actually right now you have two all-timers. Well, one just retired, but in the last 5 to 6 years you have two all-time guys. One being Tom Brady, one being Patrick Mahomes. Nobody coming out of college right now. It's early to say out of college, but nobody coming out of or that's in the pros right now are either of those guys. And for anybody to ask for for more than them, fuck off. Fuck off. Simple.
Win a game. Win a big game. Yeah.
And I don't think it's that hard. I don't, because you know what?
Yeah.
They will take what's given to them. And it's shitty, but you know what? It's still just a fucking game, and somebody else will take it if you don't. Fuck off.
And then so go ahead. Honestly, leave.
All right, bye.
Leave. Yeah. You like one of your things. We lost with you, we'll lose without you. And we'll see what's coming down the thing, and we're going to save ourselves $40 million and maybe buy a better O-line, maybe get a better running back, maybe get a better
all of it
that can put pressure. Yeah. Because that $40 million, $10 million around 4 different players is going to make a huge difference on the quality in those the other positions.
No, I don't know. I think they're all fucking delusional.
I get it.
Self-importance.
The quarterback is the most important position to pay a guy, but if you're paying the wrong guy too much money, you're fucked.
Simple.
It is that simple. Is Dak Prescott worth the money that Dallas has been paying him all these years? Don't see it on the field.
We've compared NFL quarterbacks to NHL goalies a lot, and I think it's a very fair comparison, because you can insert goalie here, insert goalie there, and they find a way, especially in today's game.
Yep.
And I think the NFL is not too far behind that. I really, because you know what?
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
He's close. He's been close a few times.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and then he signed.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer. Chad Johnson won Super Bowls, right? These guys are not that.
Eli Manning.
He won 2, and he won. He
ain't that good.
2 Super Bowl
good.
2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Product of the environment.
I'm just saying he's better than
he's better than Justin Herbert.
He's better than Herbert. He's better than Chad Johnson. He's better than Trent Dilfer. He's better than a lot of guys.
These guys who think they got an open fucking checkbook, they should be just you're an employee. Fuck off.
Figure it out, and then just
you know what? When you're asking for this kind of money, you're not a team guy. Fuck off.
Fuck off. Right? And Lamar Jackson.
You're going to do fine with all your other fucking endorsements and whatever. Fuck off. You're not a team guy. Get out of here. Get bent.
I'd love to see that. I would love to see.
I'd love to see an owner. I would love to see not a GM. I would love to see an owner come on TV and say that this guy think he fucking is.
Exactly. And just assemble the best offensive line with a stud running back and say you know what, we can get anyone to hand it off. And then we can do that. Derrick Henry's having his seasons because they have shit fuck Tannehill, who's making $30 million a year. Yeah. I honestly believe Ryan Tannehill is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this year. And I think I could throw as far as that guy. He has no deep presence. He's Kirk Cousins light. I don't even know if he's good as Kirk Cousins For fuck's sake.
Until you own the company, you should not be deciding what you fucking get made.
You bet. And then I'm going to spend money on different. Yep. I'm going to spend money on an edge rusher. I'm going to spend money on some DBs. And then I'm going to get fucking Brock Purdy to come in. I'm going to pay him $700,000 a year. And we're going to have a chance. And what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Good. Bye. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Fuck
bye.
off.
See ya. Fuck off.
Fuck off, Kyler. Fuck off, Herbert.
All of them.
Fuck off, Dak. Fuck off.
Go lose
Aaron
over
Rodgers.
there. Go
Fuck
lose
off.
over there.
Yep.
Go to the fucking CFL and play for fucking $75,000 a year. Fuck off.
Not on this team.
Yeah, anyways, the 1420, we got a little long there. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, Fort Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. This segment brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today. You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. Fort Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.